It's time to do some more practice with correcting run-ons. I only have one example on the board, but we're going to use all 4 methods for correcting this run-on to get a lot of practice out of just one example. Let's take a look at the example on the board. A squirrel got into the house through the open window. We had to catch it without getting bitten. Now, what we have here is an example of a fused sentence because we don't have any punctuation dividing these 2 complete thoughts. We're just going straight through. So where should the break happen? Where do the 2 complete thoughts join? Well, you can see here. A squirrel got into the house through the open window. We had to catch it without getting bitten. Those are 2 distinct complete thoughts. So how could we correctly punctuate this? Let me ask you this. Could we add a comma right here? A squirrel got into the house through the open window, comma, we had to catch it without getting bitten. Is that correct? No, because this is the other form of run-on. This is what we call a comma splice, because a comma is too weak to join together 2 complete thoughts on its own. It can't pull 2 complete thoughts into one sentence. It needs help. Well, that brings us to our first method of correcting the run-on. What kind of help does this comma need? Right, we could add a joining word. Let's add the word and. A squirrel got into the house through the open window, comma, and we had to catch it without getting bitten. Now this is correct. This is a correctly written sentence because a comma and a joining word together are now strong enough to connect those 2 complete thoughts into one sentence. All right, what else could we do? Well, what is perhaps the easiest solution is to put a comma between the 2 complete thoughts. A comma is always correct. You can always put a comma between 2 complete thoughts. A period is a very strong punctuation mark, so this will work. A squirrel got into the house through the open window, period. We had to catch it without getting bitten. Now we have 2 correctly punctuated complete sentences that are separate from each other. What else? What else could we do? Well, if we don't want to use a period, we could use a semicolon. And I'm going to lowercase that we again. The semicolon is strong enough to connect 2 sentences as long as they are related to one another, as long as they're part of the same conversation. And you can see here that both of these complete thoughts are about the squirrel getting into the house. So they are related. So this will work. All right, we have one final method to join these 2 thoughts together. Well, the last method is what we call subordination, and we can use a dependent word to essentially turn one of these 2 complete thoughts into a dependent thought, meaning that it can't stand on its own anymore. So I could add the dependent word since. Since a squirrel got into the house through the open window, comma, we had to catch it without getting bitten. While the comma is not strong enough to join together 2 complete thoughts, now we don't have 2 complete thoughts anymore. We have a dependent thought and a complete thought. And the comma is strong enough to hook those together. So, since a squirrel got into the house through the open window, comma, we had to catch it without getting bitten. We have 2 thoughts correctly joined together. And so that does it for run-ons. In the next section, we're going to talk about subject-verb agreement.